Welcome, ladies and gents. That figure that's been thrown around, 4.8 million that watched Star Wars The Acolyte. It's been thrown around as something absolutely amazing. They're like, wow, this is just incredible. Such high numbers. No. It's about 3% of Disney Plus subscribers. Because what's important to note and remember is that in that figure, it does specify, although people retweeting it and parroting it have failed to put this part in their tweets, it is the highest Disney Plus premiere of the year. Okay. Well, I mean, we're halfway through the year. What has Disney Plus released this year in terms of TV shows? Not a lot. But also, if that's the highest, that's bad anyway. Because about 3% is pretty shocking, not going to lie. So I thought we'd take a good look at some of these figures. I'm going to be using an article from That Park Place, but that references friend of the channel, Valiant Renegade, so please do go and check him out. I'll leave the article link down below, and you can check out his channel as well. So let's take a look. Hit subscribe if you're new here. Please do turn those bell notifications on, and if you like what I do, support further via Patreon, which is the first link down below, or was the first link down below. This article will be above it, for as little as $2. Anyway, let's take a look. So financial analyst Valiant Renegade calls Star Wars The Acolyte's global viewership pathetic and explains that only about 3% of Disney Plus subscribers watched. Yeah, 4.8 million worldwide is like, that's laughable. That's absolutely laughable. That's not good. That's a joke. That is a joke. That's horrendous. It is the lowest lowest rated of any piece of Star Wars media out there, as we can see from this here. I'll just scroll back. Oh yeah, 31%, hey? That's not good, is it? But it is if you believe them. So let's take a look, shall we? So the Walt Disney Company and Lucasfilm attempted to use access media outlet Variety to put a positive spin on initial viewership for Leslie Headland's Star Wars The Acolyte. However, Valiant Renegade calls the numbers pathetic and explains that only about 3% of Disney Plus subscribers tuned into the show. This was the biggest franchise in history at one point. How far it's fallen. So Variety's Salome Halou, I think, wrote a headline that blared, "The Acolyte reaches 4.8 million views in one day. Biggest Disney Plus launch of 2024. It's the Disney Plus premiere. TV premiere. Series premiere. So it has to be a series. So it's not the biggest Disney Plus launch of 2024. In the article, Halou reiterated, The Acolyte, Disney Plus's newest Star Wars series, reached 4.8 million views in its first day of availability. This marks the streamer's biggest series premiere of 2024, according to Disney. Well, one, that is also according to Disney, and how they work out their views is terrible because it's total runtime divided by hours watched or something like that. Yeah. So it says this, an exact first day viewership. So here it is. Yeah, sorry. It's a view is calculated by dividing the number of hours each title is watched by its runtime. So they count both episodes, which culminates in an hour. So that's the reason why they released both episodes. It was to change the statistics. But anyway, she says an exact first day viewership total isn't available for Ahsoka. But that reached 14 million views in a few days. 2.8 million views per day. 2 million below the launch of The Acolyte. Okay, cool. Anyway, so yeah, Valiant Renegade did this video, which is a good video. It says gaslights, basically. Disney's gaslighting the Acolyte ratings, and it's true. So he says pathetic. Disney's trying to pull a fast one, which it is. And he said, first of all, the views themselves. Remember, there were 2 episodes. So we're talking about total runtime between just the first episode or both episodes. We don't know. It'll be both because it's a series premiere. So if the series premiere launches with 2 episodes, it'll be both, which calculates, it bumps it up. And that's why they've been releasing 2 episodes at a time. If you notice this on Disney, they release 2 episodes at a time, and they're doing it for that reason. So they can calculate both of them. Same as like the Nielsen ratings. I believe it's the Nielsen ratings take all things into account. So like all of them. It'll calculate every single episode in a month period that is watched for the total views or something along those lines. Anyway. So he says, they didn't stipulate and came up with a viewership total. The other part of the issue is that 4.8 million views does not stipulate from where or from what market that was derived. And when it comes to Disney Plus, if we go by what they've said in the past, when they report Disney Plus numbers for things like The Acolyte or things like Ahsoka, they're talking about global views. They're talking about Disney Plus with its nearly 150 million subscribers. That's terrible in terms of the views. So that means that basically, let's say the 3% of all Disney Plus subscribers tuned in that Tuesday night to watch The Acolyte. They don't stipulate US, like we know when we read reports from places like Nielsen or even Samba TV. And those figures will come out and they will be bad. They will be in the hundreds of thousands. That's all it's going to be. I bet you anything. I'll be surprised if it's not. So he said further, but it actually gets worse. Let's read the first sentence again. The Acolyte, Disney Plus's newest series, reached 4.8 million views in its first day of availability. This marks the streamer's biggest series premiere of 2024 thus far. He says, what other major competition has there been in terms of a series premiere on Disney Plus since January? There's only one, Echo. Just one. That's it. Now, sure, they had other things like X-Men 97, but we're talking about small potatoes, or shows that were poorly received. So I don't know how beating these other animated series or very bad Marvel series that nobody watched, is this really something to tout that so far with virtually nothing else out there on the platform to speak of in terms of premieres since the beginning of the year that we were going to have to throw a party for this one. Basically, it's bad because it is bad. And then he also compared HBO's House of the Dragon, which is coming back and that's going to blow up. It says House of the Dragon, much like The Acolyte, is a very large budget show, 200 million or so, in that range, absolutely. But you see it's dripping on screen. The Acolyte arguably does look good. Like, what you see there, the sets are pretty decent. Like, it looks expensive, just terribly written and poorly acted. So he says, let's look at what the actual viewership looks like for a seriously big hit show. So from 2022, following the season or series premiere, I should say, of House of the Dragon, 10 million viewers, 10 million, twice as much as what Disney is reporting, but it gets worse. The premiere of House of the Dragon drew 9.986 million viewers across linear. That's cable and HBO Max streaming in the US. In the US. House of the Dragon turned in twice as many views than The Acolyte in just the US alone. The Acolyte's numbers, again, if Disney's reporting in any consistency, it is worldwide. Globally. So 10 million views for House of the Dragon within a couple of hours on one evening versus that. You know what's funny about this? Right? You know what's funny about this? And I say this. Doctor Who is getting more views than The Acolyte. Doctor Who is getting more overnight views in one country than The Acolyte. That's bad. So, yeah, Doctor Who in the UK alone, is getting over 3 million views, or it did for its opening one anyway. It did. It got a relatively high amount, like 2.6 overnight. So if you're doing that per capita, that's more than what The Acolyte is getting on a global basis, isn't it? And also per subscriber, so per capita, yeah. That's terrible. Jesus. I just clocked that myself. That's horrendous. Valiant, why didn't you use that? Anyway. I don't even need to... Do I need to say any more than that? House of Dragon beats it. Doctor Who beats it per capita. Excellent. There you go. What a joke. What a joke. Let me know your thoughts down below. Bye now.